We should probably thank the Arizona Hospital and Healthcare Association did some very heavy lobbying to show how this bill would create an unfunded mandate for hospitals and that it would create a burden for U.S. citizens to carry their documentation during emergent care, which, I mean, you don't know when you're going to have to go to the hospital. So I think we should probably talk to them. I will say in Mr. Gould's defense, we obviously don't agree on the issue. I will say he did not know that the sponsor was going to hold the bill until the last minute. So yeah, he's a very straight shooter. I mean, we don't often agree with him, but as you saw on committee today, he's a straight shooter. So what happened was Ms. Griffin decided at the last minute not to hear the bill. So she's brand new, so she probably didn't understand that it forced you all to sit for 5 hours in committee. But I would take a second, if you can, to thank the Hospital and Healthcare Association for their work, because I think that they spent a lot of time with Senator Griffin to help her understand that this bill was bad for all of us. So that's a couple victories in one day, right?
Yeah.
We stopped the, thanks guys. Well, I tell you, I mean, I'm glad the bill was pulled because we were going to lose probably if the bill came forward. But anytime we can win anything, I'm really happy. I was ready for a fight. So I'm sorry that you all had to spend so much time there, but you did get to see a little bit of democracy not in place. There was a little bit. That birther bill was a beautiful vote. Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful?
That was really interesting.
I was doing a little happy dance under my chair. I was like, la la la. So.
Do you expect this to come back in the next 3 days?
You know, I think it's unlikely that this particular, well, okay, let me say, there are two things. One, the sponsor, I think, pulled the bill because of the very valid concerns from the Hospital and Healthcare Association. So she's unlikely to put it somewhere else. That being said, those of us who've been around for a while know exactly where this bill came from. This is a Russell Pierce special.
Sure. And
Russell's done this bill year after year after year after year. So as the Senate President, he has the prerogative to pull the bill out of committee and put it in another committee at any time that he wants. And he may do so at some time this week. Now this week is the last week to hear bills, so he needs to do it quickly if he wants to do it. There's one exception. He could move the bill to the Appropriations Committee, which has more time to hear bills. That committee gets extra time. So the bill could come up later this week, it could come up next week in Appropriations, or the sponsor herself could choose not to support the bill any longer. My guess is that the sponsor of the bill probably didn't understand the kind of opposition she was going to see when she introduced it. She just, you know, received the bill, thought it was a good idea to move forward. She's a freshman, so I think that she was probably not expecting the kind of opposition that she saw. So I guess it's too early to answer that.
I know you can't tell the future, but if this bill passes, do you see the next one is going to be every clinic taking access has to check immigration, and then every ambulance service?
You know, don't say that on camera, it'll give them ideas.
I'm not pressed.
That's really scary. I will say that I think this bill would have a difficult time getting out of the state Senate. There are a number of fiscally conservative Republicans who have grown weary of this type of legislation that doesn't do anything to support jobs, schools, or really put us state back on the right track. So I'm not sure that this bill would make it on the Senate floor. So let's keep it that way, right?
Just trying to keep it from getting there.
Yeah.
So you think it's unlikely then it will come back?
It may come back, but I think it's unlikely that it would make it to the governor. Yeah. Yeah.
Question on the judge court bills for justices.
Yes.
Do you think that the stuff about them being able to put stuff on the ballot or information is really so that anti-abortion groups can put in
yes, that's what it
little
is.
things that
Yes.
point out which judge?
So right now, Superior Court judges have the authority to override parental consent and authorize younger teens to have access to abortion, specifically in the cases where they've been subject to abuse or rape by a family member.
So we get rid of all those judges.
And that is, I do believe that is the intent of the legislation. Now you obviously notice I didn't say that in committee because that could have lost me some votes that I had. Some of the folks who voted with us probably weren't thinking about that, and I don't want them to. But yeah, I do think it's an attempt by the Center for Arizona Policy to further isolate and tamp down the ability for judges to make decisions in the best interests of young women who need to get or who feel like they need to get abortions because of incest or rape. Yeah. I think we might be able to stop that bill as it goes through the process as well. I hope so. So, all right. Okay, I have to go back into committee, but I just wanted to catch you before y'all left and give you my thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the good comments and votes today.
Well, I wish I had a few more people, but we had enough to get a couple good things done today. So, Thank you so much, and I hope you all will come again. You know, the 14th Amendment bill is back on the agenda next Tuesday. No, it was on tomorrow's agenda, but it was removed from tomorrow's agenda. The governor has asked that this week be focused on her so-called jobs bill. The one that takes all the money out of the state coffers. And so they've moved the 14th Amendment bills till next Tuesday, so that there's more time to adequately debate those bills. So next Tuesday at 2 p.m. will be the 14th Amendment bills.
And tomorrow there's a bill allow health insurance to be sold in other states for us.
Yes.
Is that still on for tomorrow? These bills?
I can't remember what committee that's in. Is that push I don't remember which committee that's in, but I think it's still on the agenda. I will say this, in the last several hours there have been a lot of revisions coming out to agendas, so there could be changes that I'm not aware of yet.
And we can access those.
Oh yes, they're all online. They're all available online. As soon as I get them, they go up on the website as well. Problem is they just happen so quickly, it's hard to keep them.
Right.
So,
Right.
yes.
You name the hospital and healthcare
The Arizona Hospital and Healthcare Association. Yes, the Arizona Hospital and Healthcare Association. The lobbyist's name is Barb Fanning, like Fanning.
Okay.
And I think it would be a good idea to give them thanks, because it probably wasn't easy, you know, for groups to stand up to this kind of legislation.
That makes a lot of difference when
It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. So let's definitely, if you can, take some time to thank them.
Good.
All right.
Barb
Thanks, you
Fanning.
guys.
Thank you.
Barb Fanning, like I'm fanning myself. I'm
Fanning.
gonna go back in and fight against some more bad bills. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. It was great to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Great to be sitting with you and working on common issues.
Yes, let's work together. And
Ready?
well,